Hey YouTube, it's time for another episode of NC Socks. So the story I'm going to be telling in this video is kind of a short one, but I think it's pretty funny, and it's something that happened to me a very long time ago. So this was back in my preschool days, when I was in Adam Vetzer, or the Rubik's Cubes class, actually. So in preschool, I think I've mentioned this before in my previous videos, I had some really strange and weird obsession with the planets of the solar system. So basically at that time I knew like everything about the planets. I could tell you their diameters, the amount of moons they had, their distance from the sun, all sorts of weird fun facts about each planet and things like that. So I was in school one day in preschool, and I walked up to my teacher, and I innocently, like the little child I was, I asked my teacher if she wanted to know how hot Jupiter was. Apparently it's really hot at the core, which is pretty cool, and I thought that was a really cool fact at the time. So I asked my teacher if she wanted to know how hot Jupiter was, and she said later, or no, or not right now, or something like that, basically trying to get me to go away for a little while, and I could tell her later. So, I didn't really understand at the time that if somebody says later to something like that they're probably just not interested, so I legitimately thought she wanted to know how hot Jupiter was, but she just didn't want to know at the time. So, I waited a little while, and I went back to her again a little bit later, like she said, and I said, now do you want to know how hot Jupiter is? And she said no, and a little later or something like that. So that was the second time, and I figured, okay, I have to tell her how hot Jupiter is. She wants to know, it's just she wants to know later. So I waited a little while, maybe, I don't know how long. I felt like it was an hour, it was probably like 5 minutes or something. But I went up to her again, and I said, now do you want to know how hot Jupiter is? And she just got really mad. I remember, word for word, it's only 2 words, but they stuck with me my whole life. She screamed at me, Daniel, please! And I was just really upset after that, because I didn't really know how to react. She told me she wanted to know how hot this planet was later, and it was later. So I probably still hold a little more resentment for that than I should, but it was really upsetting to me, because I had never really gotten in trouble before, or yelled at, and that was just really scary. So if you ever come up to me at a competition and you say, Daniel, please, in a really angry and stern voice, I'm probably going to start having flashbacks, and I'm probably just going to run away from you. So maybe don't do that. But yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.